While we try to be as helpful as possible, this podcast should not be considered as professional or financial advice. It contains general information only, and you should seek out professional advice for your own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Julia.
And I'm Nick.
And this is the Enthusiast Lab.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Enthusiast Lab. Today, we're going to try and keep it short and sweet, like short and punchy.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Please. And what we thought we'd talk about is land suburbs, land availability, where we're able to build, etc., etc., etc. And the reason for this, I remember on one of the YouTube episodes, I'm so sorry, I don't remember who it was, but they asked us like what land is available and where would you build in 2025. Yep. So I thought, why don't we kind of like look at Perth and break it down in the 4 quadrants, which is like your north, west, your north, east, your south, west, your south, east, and what suburbs are there and what kind of like
there's many suburbs.
Well, yes, but like in terms of building in a greenfield block.
Okay, so we're looking at greenfields. Yep.
So let's look at that because we can build from Yanchep down to Mandurah, Bullsbrook down to Whitby. But when we're talking about house and land packages in the greenfield area, which is with like your typical builders, if you will, like your
standard project builders and your standard developers.
Like where would they build? Where can they build?
Yeah.
So let's look at the north quadrant. Do you want to look at the map?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yep, that helps.
So if we're looking at the northwestern corridor, so like your coastal anywhere from Two Rocks down to about Clarkson is where you're looking.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, because that's where there's land availability. So Two Rocks is a couple different developments. The main one is your Atlantis Beach, which is a large development. Going further down into your Yanchep, you've got a couple there from your Capricorn Beach. You've got Yanchep Golf Estate, you've got Jindawi. There's quite a few different blocks out there, which we have a few builds in. Then you go further down into Eglinton. So, because we're starting from the very top going down. Then you've got Eglinton. So Eglinton, there's quite a few. There's Eglinton Village. You've got Ammerton Beach, Alara. You've got Elevale. Those are the main 4 that I believe are in there. Again, there's little bits and bobs everywhere, but we're just talking quick, generic, where we've done quite a bit of business and where we currently have builds in. Where are we going down? Down after that, that's Alkimos. Alkimos, there's heaps, but they're all over the place.
If you drive down, what road is that?
That's
is
Marmion. Marmion. You've got on both left and right, coastal and non-coastal. So Alkimos Beach, Alkimos Vista, Trinity Village. So there's quite a few, and then there's little in-betweeners as well, little pockets like east of the beach. There is a variety of them. The land availability is very different. You've got Shorehaven, which falls under Eden Beach / Alkimos, like it's like the borderline between.
And like huge. Land prices also vary heavily between each estate.
Anything coastal is average about probably between $25,000 to about $40,000 more for the same size block if you're on the western side of Marmion Ave. If you're on the eastern side, so away from the coastal, they're normally about 25 to 40 grand cheaper.
Yep.
So what you end up doing is for the same price, you might get a bigger block, is what you're normally seeing with that different comparison.
And you'd have less coastal attenuation stuff.
You've got a higher chance of not having to upgrade your home for coastal upgrades because you're not within that kilometre radius from the breaking surf from the beach.
Yep.
Which will then save you further costs as well. Most of this whole coastal corridor, the site works out there is normally quite sandy beach, which is great. However, you do get a lot of limestone refusal, so sometimes you do need to allow for some hard digging as well, which is something that a lot of clients get caught out with in coastal areas. So we allow for that worst case up front.
Yep.
When the results come back, if we don't need it, you get the money back.
Yep.
And obviously, like down the Clarkson, so your Catalina, We just finished one in that corridor with a big full custom 3-car garage, massive house with skilly and roof and stuff. So we do have those. The biggest thing is just people's budgets, but coastal, we do quite a bit in there.
Yeah, so when we're talking about coastal in the North Corridor from Two Rocks down to about Clarkson.
Yeah.
That's like your corridor for new homes, first home buyer with most builders.
Yeah. And then budgets wise, you can do packages from about 580 to about $1 million very quickly within a heartbeat.
Keeping in mind this is for 2025 pricing.
Yeah.
Like if someone's listening to this for a couple of years down the track, probably no, but
it'll be different. You'll still be able to do something. Just the land availability, the early 500, the late 500s, 600s, you're going to be much more closer towards your Eglinton and Two Rocks. And then as your budget increases, you'll get closer because the cost of land's about $100K difference between Two Rocks and Clarkson.
Yep.
Minimum 100,000.
Yep. Jumping to the eastern side, northeast.
Yep.
I'd say Bullsbrook down to about Brabham.
Yeah. So we do
Dayton.
Yeah. So Bullsbrook, Ellenbrook. What's Clementine Estate actually fall under? Upper Swan is the suburb. What else? Then you've got a little bit of that Midland / Stratton area.
Henley Brook, Brabham.
Yeah, Henley Brook, Brabham, Dayton, Caversham.
Bennett Springs.
Caversham, there's not much left in there, so I won't even actually advertise that, to be honest. Dayton, there's a couple smaller blocks. We're doing a big one in there that had a small little release of 550 square blocks. They're 12.5 by 40 deep. We're doing that full custom for the guys from Sydney. Just some decent dollars for it.
A few more.
There is a bit.
Midvale.
Yes, definitely Midvale, which is part of that whole Stratton area.
Bushmead,
we're doing quite a few. Helena Valley, we've got a few in that area as well. So this is the generic. You got to remember, we also go out. So we do Lower Chittering, we do Chidlow, we do Mount Helena, we do all those areas as well. So we do the slightly outer regional areas now as well. So we have actually opened the capacity to build substantially in the past probably 3 months since taking on a few extra builders.
I was trying to think, where was that other suburb? Guildford? No, not Guildford.
Yeah, South Guildford.
South Guildford, that's the one.
It's pretty much sold out now though.
Well,
so unless you get something in there. But again, we've got capacity for it. And this is the thing. I think what we wanted to do with this episode is just to show and explain to people like, hey, yes, we do a big variety, large volume in specific areas. The biggest thing is land availability.
Yes.
As well as budget.
Cost,
You give me $1 million budget, say less. I'll give you plenty of options. But if you have certain preferences, budget is always going to determine things. But we have currently in that northern corridor quite a lot of business, quite a lot of homes spread out from Two Rocks all the way around.
Yes.
And then in the south corridor, we go all the way down to Mandurah / Dawesville.
Yep.
So we've got quite a few in Mandurah. We just did a house land package for $580,000 in there. And that's a 4x2. That's for Joel. And then we've also got
I'd say we
South
go pretty
Yandara
much
up quite a lot.
Belia all the way down.
Yeah. So you've got to go from Belia down. So Belia, so we've got Belia, Ankertel. We got one in Ankertel at the moment.
Atwell, Hammond Park.
Hammond Park. Yeah,
It's
Hammond Park and Mendogalup, they're on Rowley Road, so they're opposite each other. We've done quite a few in there. That's where the first wingman ever got created.
Yes.
Got built. Was in Hammond Park. In Mendogalup. What else is there? Yeah, we're currently doing
Wellard, Baldivis.
Baldivis. Yeah, Baldivis. Fuck. Okay, so Baldivis, there's a huge range of land out there with developers. I have maybe 3 that I mostly work with. So a big thing with what we do with our business is I look at areas and go, would I consider building here? If I say yes, I would look at it myself with the packages that we provide. If someone has their own block, that's not a problem. We're happy to look at building on it. However, when someone asks me for a package for me to create it, there are certain areas that I would go, certain areas that I wouldn't go. That's my own preference.
I wouldn't say wouldn't go, but I'd maybe advise them of the risks that they're taking.
Yeah, absolutely. From site risk, if there's been constant theft or something like that in the surrounding areas, these are things that happen.
Yep.
Right? And at the end of the day, every house and land specialist will go and will get the sale. At the end of the day, it's a sale. For me, I would rather look at what the overall project is. Is there infrastructure coming in? Who's actually built in there? Who's the developer? What's the constant? What's it going to look like in 10 years when the developer's finished? Do you know what I mean? Are those landscapes, those parks going to be landscaped and continually maintained? All these things can either increase or decrease the value of your property over a long period of time.
Absolutely. Continuing down on the south coastal side,
Yep.
Golden Bay,
Carnup,
Lakelands.
so we do Carnup, which is just after Baldivis before Golden Bay. Then you got your Golden Bay. We do your Singleton. Then you've got Medora Bay. We did quite a few out in those areas. Your Lakelands. Then going down Meadow Springs. I've done only maybe one or two out there. There's not a huge amount of land in that area. And then a big one when you go a bit more into that southeast is your South Yunderup, Ravenswood, Pinjarra. We do a shit ton in that area. There's a huge amount in South Yunderup in Austin Lakes Estate. We do a lot in there. Down into Mandurah, we do your Mandurah, and then we also join into this new area in Greenfields, which is a full private development done by Move Homes. So we just did that. That's where that package is for that under 600K with a 4x2. We've got a few more from them, and there's still more blocks coming for that. So that's an exclusive package we can do.
And let's jump to the southeast.
Yep. So southeast, a large variety. We do heaps in Darling Downs, Hilbert. We're doing one in Haynes. I think that slab's actually just gone down as well right now.
1D.
Yep. That's where we did one of our big 8-car garages. We did quite a few 4-car garages in that area.
Byford, Whitby.
Yeah, Byford, fuck man. We've been doing Byford for the last 7 years. So we've literally sold streets of just clients, and they're still fucking doing slab parties and shit street parties. It's so sick. So Byford we do quite a lot. Byford, I have a preference because I've built in that area a lot, which is the main one, which is that Byford Glades estate. It's the large developing estate. But there are a couple different estates within there that we are open to building. Again, if we can secure a block or if someone's got a block, just reach out and we'll tell you yay or nay if we can build there. And then the final part, just a little bit further out, which we're doing, is a big hot one at the moment, is Whitby.
Yes.
Price point. That's the biggest thing for there is price point. It's about 30 to 50K price difference between Byford and Whitby. And you're looking at literally, 14-minute drive. It's one of those things where price point and you're getting those bigger blocks and stuff. And again, there's not a lot happening there right this second. It's over 5-10 year period. And there has been quite a lot of growth in that area. So definitely something that we're doing.
What I would say, as a small recap and kind of like a geographical pointers, Two Rocks down to Mandurah and Bullsbrook or Lower Chittering down to Whitby is kind of like your square, if you will, your rectangle. Yeah. And what I would say, what determines where our clients are building is your budget. If 100%. You look at the Perth CBD as your kind of central ground, as you move up into the 4 corridors, the further you go, the cheaper the land is. Yes. The house prices are the same. It doesn't matter whether we build the house in the CBD or in Whitby or in Byford or in Baldivis or wherever it is. The house price stays the same. It's the further you travel away from the CBD that the package becomes cheaper because the land is cheaper. So
there's 3 parts to a package. Cost of the land, cost of the build, cost of the site works.
Yes.
Right? The site works changes.
Sorry. Okay. Yes, go on then.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Well, go on then.
But you're right. Wherever I go in Perth, right? Whether you're an hour and a half away from the CBD or you're right next to the CBD, the cost of the home is the same. The difference is the site works, the preparation required for the soil on that land, which can vary. And then the final biggest contributing factor is the price of the land. From one suburb to the next within a 15-minute corridor, like a travel time, you can see a price difference of 50 to 100K. And that is something that at the end of the day, price means everything, right? This, for a lot of people, is their first stepping stone into a home. They don't want to have $1 million property for their first home. This isn't Sydney. We're in Perth, right? We should be able to afford something here. And if that means being a little bit uncomfortable to get yourself comfortable, that's something that you might have to do. And that's what we talk a lot about. It's providing options based on your budget. If your budget is $600,000, you ain't coming to the city. You're going to have to look at those outer suburbs that we can find a solution for you. If you've got a $900,000 budget, okay, now we've got a lot more flexibility. What that means is you can now come closer, spend more on the land while still retaining the house option that you like. That's all it is. The house is the house. We've got houses that literally go from a 2x1 all the way to our 30K garage.
Yes.
We can accommodate all. We have houses in the 250, 260 cost, right? And then we've got houses that start at 1.2 mil.
Yep.
So we've got the variety of the cost of the pricing of homes and the size of homes. The biggest problem is the cost of land. The land kills it every single time.
But but what I was going to say was we've got houses to accommodate everyone's wants and needs, more or less.
100%.
We have availability to build in pretty much most of Perth.
Yeah.
And some of, outer CBD, outer region Perth.
Regional, yeah.
The biggest deciding factor is the budget of the clients and where they want to build, I guess.
Yeah.
If they're a coastal couple, absolutely we can put them on a coastal site. It just depends on their budget, whether they're going to be in Clarkson or in Two Rocks or somewhere in between.
Absolutely.
The budget's the huge deciding factor about where we can get a coastal block for you that matches your budget.
Exactly. And that's the thing is I think people just really need to understand that, whatever comes through the door is what we're going to sell. If someone's already got a block and they go, look, I've got a 350 budget left for a home, but I've already got a block. Can I do something? Absolutely. What are you expecting? I want a 4x2 and this and this and this. Okay, look, probably not going to work in the budget. Here's the options that will fit in your budget with inclusions with this. Many people are happy to offer homes, as an empty shell. We can do that if someone wants it. We don't recommend it, but we can accommodate whatever the situation is.
What else is there to add?
Well, I would like to, the main thing that I really want to get through to people with this episode is the fact that land availability, there is availability, right? There's not a lot of it, but there is. As it gets more and more lower in stock, the costs go up and the flexibility of what developers are willing to accept is going to get a lot worse. And that's, mark my fucking words, 2026 is going to be rough.
I was also going to say title delays right now are happening everywhere.
Astronomical.
Or like waiting for titles.
Yeah.
Are everywhere. There was a lot of suburbs that we were selling in, kind of like our hotspots, if you will, for Mr. Enthusiast, and it was because
land was titled.
Land was titled, or the land price. So one of the two or both factored in.
Yeah.
Most of those suburbs are starting to run out of titled stock.
Yeah, they're running out of stock in total. They just can't keep up because of that price point. And we're seeing that where some developers now are seeing they're asking for a $10,000 deposit. Was for most of Perth, for years, it was like $1,000 deposit, maybe $3,000, maybe $5,000 if you're really pushing it. Now up to $10,000.
Yeah,
insane.
That is,
but it sifts people over.
It does, yeah. It sifts people out, the maybe thinkers, if you will.
Yeah, the maybe thinkers or people that are really tight on the budget and just getting $5-6 grand with the low deposit options. You just need 10 just for the land, and then another 3.5 for the builder. It actually prices people out from deposit side.
Yeah, it does.
Alone. It's pretty wild.
Title delay is what we're seeing now. So I think this episode's going to be coming out in July.
Yeah, okay.
Don't mark me on this. So guys, if you're listening to this in August,
July,
don't mark my words. My bad.
July is August.
But we're seeing a lot of titles kind of come out in lumps.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of titles coming out in, say, the October mark.
Yeah. So releases are aiming towards October with when they're starting their developments, which we've done obviously episodes with Ryan about explaining how untitled land works and how it all structures.
How it becomes titled.
Exactly. But we're actually seeing a lot of stock that developers are actually selling lands now anywhere. They're trying to stick within a 4 to 6 month period because they were trying to sell nearly 12 months in advance and realized there was a lot of fallover rate.
Yes.
So a fallover rate is basically they get a client that signs up on a block of land, and let's say it was a 12-month scenario, but by month 3 or 5, they were cancelling. So they're going, well, this is too risky now. So we're starting to see that developers are actively making lands, but they're not making it available on the market or telling anyone until it gets to about a 4 or 5 month scenario, and then boom, they launch it. And they're launching in staggers. So what that means is they're launching 5, and then it goes up.
Like 5 blocks.
5 blocks. They've probably developed 40. They'll do 5, release it, then 10 come out, then another 10, and then another 5. Do you know what I mean? Like, and slowly it staggers it. And
rather than giving people 40 to start off with and be like, hey, here's 40 blocks.
And then they run out of stock. So by limiting that, then they can adjust and say, oh, well, the demand was really high. Maybe we bump it up a little bit, or vice versa. That's what we have seen, and that has been confirmed with developers. That is what happens.
Yep.
Supply and demand. It's simple business economics.
Yeah, definitely.
But there is title delays. It is things that people need to take into consideration with. If it's saying October, guys, be prepared for December. Do you know what I mean? You have to do this. No matter what developers saying, they are at the mercy of weather, what the trades end up completing the jobs, and also the government for titles to actually be issued.
Through Landgate, yeah.
Exactly, through Landgate. And they are fucking busy. So they might have everything completely ready in October, get all the clearances, but it might take another 2 to 6 weeks. Sometimes they're done quicker, but sometimes they're a lot longer. So your October is now November or past November. And if you've got a lot of these builders and consultants that are really on that fine tune, they're probably only fixed you until October. Your land's not titled till November, December. Guess what? You're up for a price increase and you didn't know it.
Yep.
And you could be up for tens of thousands. So you've got to protect yourself.
Again, that's just knowing the market, having experience in the industry, all that good jazz.
But at the same time, we're here to bring the awareness. These are things that people need to watch out for.
Yes,
do you know
absolutely.
What I mean? Yes, we do the right thing. We know what we're looking for. We always work on a worst case basis, and that's how we get away with so much shit that we don't have to deal with. But at the same time, there are those fine tunes where some people don't have that approach or don't have the experience. They haven't dealt with this to this level, and those are the things that you pay for and what you expect from the right service. But in terms of coverage, like with land, we have so many different builders to hit so many different markets. So if someone goes, like we went to the thing before the episode today. So before we came to recording today, we went to the recycling center.
Oh yeah. And
a bloke that randomly follows us is like, I didn't realize you're in WA. I was like,
where'd you think I was?
Yeah, man, I'm building WA. Long story short, he's got a block in Morley that was like 700 square meters, and he wants to look at doing a demo rebuild. 100%, we'll take it on.
Let's do that.
We've got 2 different builders for it.
Yep.
So, we have the opportunity to do everything. And I told him, I said, 100%, man, we'll build your gangster garage, but single story. That's it. Not touching double story. No, thank you.
I think that's where we're capping ourselves.
That's my cap.
Yeah. We do have a builder that does double story.
Have them. Yep. I refuse to do it.
I would rather not touch them just because the length of time of that build is long at the moment. We're waiting for that to become.
Should something change, we will do an episode, we'll do a launch and everything about it. But right now, Mr. Enthusiast is not accepting any sort of inquiry for 2-story homes.
Absolutely. Alrighty. I think that's a nice, short, sweet episode for you guys.
Yep, it's a nice little sweet in-betweener for people. Basically, we do everywhere. We're not just locked in with 1 or 2 places. We actually have quite a lot of people in construction at the moment all over Perth. Most of the areas that we've actually mentioned, between maybe 1 to 5 in each of those suburbs, which is awesome. But yeah, hopefully it gives you guys a bit more of an idea, because I think because we do so many like in certain areas, people might end up sitting there going, "Oh fuck, do you need to do it there?" Which has been a question a few times. We're like, "Nah, man, we'll do it all everywhere. Where do you want to go?" "Oh, I want to be coastal." Say less.
Say less.
What's your budget? 500. Ain't gone there.
Say more.
Say more. Say more. Pay more. It's all budget, guys. It's all budget.
Short and sweet episode for you guys. Full caveat is because we have got 2 special guests coming on today, and we kind of had like a 35-minute window in between. So kind of tried to smash something out and not waste the time. I hope it's a little bit of info for you guys about where we're able to build in terms of like the 4 quadrants of Perth, and why maybe we have been building in certain suburbs. Watch the space, and if you guys have a block in mind, give us a shout.
Yeah, give us a shout. Even if we haven't mentioned the suburb, reach out to us and we will confirm with our builders, and you'd be surprised, 9 times out of 10 we'll probably be able to build there. As long as it's something possible with a single story and you've got the budget, we'll probably be able to cover it.
The only thing I'd say is we don't go regional, like in terms of Bunbury, Busselton, anything
but
like that.
We've had queries like, "Hey, do you do Jarrah?" Nah, man, like we're still in the Perth. That's not Perth. That's outer Perth.
Okay.
We are still but the thing is, someone goes, "Hey, will you go Chidlow?" Say less.
Yep.
We will. we've got a builder for that. Hey, I want to do Lower Chittering, just that little bit out of Bullsbrook, that northeast corridor, but the land's bigger. Yep, we have a builder for it.
Absolutely.
So those are the things, is ask the question. All I can say is no, and hopefully try and direct you in the right path.
100%. So follow, subscribe, leave a rating, a review.
Yeah.
Anything would be amazing. It really helps us in the back end and shows that you're watching.
100%. Like, it's really cool to see there's heaps of you listeners out there. If we can just get a couple of you legends to just click that rating, click a 5-star, it helps us along in the background to help grow this podcast. We want to bring more people on, and the bigger we can get this show, the more we can bring forward to you guys.
The more info we can deliver.
Yep.
Follow us on all the socials. You can find us pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. YouTube is probably something that I want to try and push a bit more on, which is just the fact that if you just type in Mr. Enthusiast, we've got a podcast obviously on there, but also we have 110, 120 house walkthroughs, because a lot of people love seeing them. We do the full walkthroughs of all of our videos that are on socials is actually on our YouTube. So it does
the
help
longer
a lot of
version.
people. Yeah, the longer version, the full walkthrough, so you get a lot more time to go through it all. It is on our YouTubes, but otherwise, yeah, you can find us everywhere. If you don't see us on socials, I'm doing something wrong.
Absolutely. And just remember, guys,
We're not here
to fuck spiders.
Fuck oath.
We did that backwards.
Yeah, we did. Bye.
Bye.